So we're going to take the feet down one at a time. We're going to roll over onto our side. Still got the towel, I mustn't forget to use the towel in a minute. So knees bent in a beginner position, and if you want to go a little bit stronger, you take the legs into sort of halfway out. Lying with the head on the arm, or you could put the hand at the back of the neck. I like that one because it just uses your biceps a little bit more. Push your top hip away. If it's hitched up towards your shoulder, you're not quite in that perfect neutral spine. So push the top hip away. You feel your waist lift off the floor. Extend your top leg. Turn your knee towards the ceiling and just feel that rotation in the hip, activation of the muscles at the back of the pelvis, and you're going to do small, smooth circles. So the kneecap is pointing upwards, you're externally rotated in that hip, you're connecting with your rotators at the back of your pelvis. See if you can stay turned out and reverse the direction of your circle. Doesn't look like much, doesn't sound like much, but when you've got that kneecap pointing to the ceiling, you're working really hard in the back of the pelvis. Lovely. Bring your kneecap to facing forward, and now you're just going to gently swing forward, reach back. I'm going to put my hand on the floor just to steady myself. So we're going to do it really slow, and you're trying to keep the bones in the box really still. Find the stretch in the leg as you come forward and the stretch in the front of the hip as you go to the back. So it's a really great stretch for the hip flexors, this movement. So don't rush it. Take the moment to feel. Your abs are working really strong regardless. Now take the leg to the back, but bend the knee and just draw that big circle through to the front. Try and stay at the level of the pelvis, the top of the pelvis. So you're not dragging along the floor. I'm going to make sure that I give Lauren a chance to do both legs before she rushes off. Last one. Bring those knees together, have a little rest. So this one, we're just going to keep the toes together. We're just going to do a clam. So one of the classical exercises, you just hold that top hip steady. You've got an external rotation again, and you come back in. So to do the clam at the end is quite hard because these muscles are already quite fatigued now, so you can really feel it. So again, and deeply pull up through the pelvic floor, up under the ribs. Engage and connect with your abs as you do that turnout. So it's not just the hip, it's the powerhouse. 2 more. These muscles are letting me know now. It's like, yep, we are tired. Last one, find the abs. And maybe just bring that leg across and just give yourself a little bit of a rub. Okay, so changing sides. So everything the same as before. Maybe you've got the arm out straight. Maybe you're holding the back of the neck just to use the biceps. You're going to match up the legs, so you might have been knees bent or 3/4 bent, and you're going to push that top hip down and away to lift the waist. Extend your top leg, turn your kneecap up towards the ceiling, so you're connecting with the back of the pelvis. We're doing those little small circles. Try and find your abs when you do these movements, not just the rotators, the muscles at the back of the pelvis, but try and really find those low transversus abdominis. Stay turned out and reverse the direction of your circle. That kneecap still pointing to the ceiling. So now turn your knee to the ceiling, to the front I mean, and just swing forward, swing back. You've got your hand here to steady yourself forward and back. Feel the stretch in the leg as you come forward, feel the stretch in the hip flexors as you go to the back. I always get a little bit of an interesting reaction in this lower leg on this side. I can feel the knee lifting away from the floor as it challenges the myofascial trains in the body. stretch and pull. So then make your bicycle, stay level with the pelvis, don't let the foot drop. The biggest circle you can make. Last one. And bring those knees together, feet together. Push that top hip down and away, and we're into the clam again. And you're feeling the connection with the muscles at the back of the pelvis. Abs are strong. And again. And again. So we did 6, so we've got 2 more. Last one. And then bring that leg across and just give yourself a little bit of release. So coming into sitting, grab your towel. We're going to fold the towel in half. And then we're going to roll it into a sausage. So it's like a little mini roller. We're coming into, if you struggle with the mermaid position, you're going to do this in the diamond. But it's better if you do it in the actual diamond position if you can. And you're going to put the roller under the bent knee side. And you're going to put it going from front to back, right under your sit bone. So it's really challenging the origins of your hamstrings. A little bit at the back is glute maximus, the bit at the front is your hamstrings. So you're just going to put the hands on the floor and you're coming up and over and come back. So it's a nice soft pressure. It's not uncomfortable, but as you do the movement, it's going to be massaging your hamstrings and helping them to relax. Up and over. So try and find the opposition in the movement. The arm that moves up, the sit bone on the same side. So this sit bone drops into the floor. And then as you come to this side, this sit bone drops into the floor. So you're trying to create the C curve. And the invisible bit is the sit bone dropping, which is going to double up the power of the stretch. You're going to feel it in your long muscles of your back. You're going to feel it in the sidelines of your body. Really beautiful stretch. It's much nicer doing the mermaid at the end of the class than it is at the beginning of the class. So now take your hand to the back hip. So I'd call this the front hip and this is the back hip. And you're just going to roll that hip forward. And as you do that, you're pushing into the rolled up towel. So you're getting even more massage. That's good. And again. And then you're going to just spiral up and around and look behind you and just feel that stretch all up through the deep connections inside your body. Spiral up and around, look behind, just make sure your neck's not too active in this. Last one. Come back in. So now I want you to come down onto your elbow on this side. So on the roller side, you're going to take your other hand and you're going to bring both elbows onto the floor and just feel the stretch in your upper back. Take some deep breaths in and feel the stretch on the inside of your rib cage. As you breathe in, the diaphragm pulls down against the back of the ribs. It's really good for the spine. Just all you need to do in this stretch is breathe. Breathing in, feel the stretch. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then to come out of it, just tighten your abs. Bring one hand up, bring the other elbow up and come back into sitting. So take your rolled up towel out. So again, if you're in the diamond, it doesn't matter. You just do it to the other side. You're going to come into your mermaid position. So the towel is under the bent knee side. Just get used to that pressure. And then you're coming up and over. You come back into center, other way. You come back into center, up and over. So as soon as you get used to the pressure of your towel and the movement, start to drop the sit bone On the same side as the arm that goes up, the sit bone is dropping into the floor. So on this side, the sit bone is dropping into the floor. Take some really deep breaths, and you're breathing into the curved side of your rib cage, the side that's stretching out. And again. And again. And come back in. So put your hand on the second furthest back hip, and you're just going to roll that hip forward. Just get used to the stretch. 2 different hips, 2 different stories. Make sure your low back is feeling comfortable as well. So there's quite an involvement with the lumbosacral fascia here. So just be respectful. So maybe now you're adding in the upward spiral of your spine and you're looking behind. The first one is always a bit of a shock to the spine. So you're spiraling up and around, roll that hip forward. So again, find what's comfortable, spiral up and around. He's really working on some very stiff and stuck fascia in the body. And again, last one. So we finish with that thoracic stretch. You're going to bring your elbow onto the floor. You're going to take your other elbow onto the floor, pull your belly button to the back of your spine, and then just take some really deep breaths and feel the stretch across the back of the rib cage. Your diaphragm attaches to the bottom half of the rib cage on the inside. You can feel that pull as your diaphragm pulls down on the in-breath. It's quite nice to get into this really tight place. One more. Exhale. Come out of it carefully. Put one hand on the floor. Pull the belly button in. Push the other hand in. Come back into sitting. So bring that back leg forward. Take the towel out, and we'll just come into feet together. And we're just going to roll down. Aim the crown of your head toward your big toes. Pull your belly up under the ribs. Take a breath. As you breathe out, deepen the abs and come back up. You could hold underneath your knees and just lift your head, lift your heart. We do that again. Drop the chin. Slide the hands down the shins. Aim the crown of the head to the toes. Take a nice deep breath while you're there. Slowly come back up. Hold the back of the knees, lift the head, lift the heart, take a breath, and then come back down, and you've finished.